Well, welcome to your first math lesson in my math class. I'm so glad to have you. I hope you enjoy these lessons. I try to make them a little bit fun, and I want you to keep in mind that if I talk too fast, you can slow me down or you can rewind. So pause, rewind, listen again till you get it, okay? You have me as your own private little teacher. So today what I want us to do is learn how to add positive and negative integers. And as you can see, I'll be quoting on the bottoms of these where these come from in the Pennsylvania Standards, just so you know we're getting ready for those PSSAs. So, do you know the answers to these questions? First of all, what is an integer? Well, an integer is actually all those numbers you see in front of you. Positive, negative, and the zero. They are all the counting numbers plus zero. Nothing in between them though, okay? We're not talking about decimals or fractions. So integers are like whole numbers, okay? Now, next question, think about this one. Tell me the answer. What is the opposite of -6? Do you know? What do you think? Well, if you said the opposite of -6 is +6, you're absolutely right. They are opposites. They cancel each other out if we added them together, right? 6 minus 6 is 0. Anyway, so here's another question, one more. Is -6 greater than or less than -5? Give me a second to think about that one. Okay, so here's what the answer is. If you said -6 is less than -5, you are right. But that sounds really weird, doesn't it? Because 6 is bigger than 5, but not -6. Anything on the number line, the further to the left you go, the smaller you go. It's that simple. So when you look at the -6 and the -5, what do you see right here? -6 is further to the left than -5. Yikes! That makes -6. Even though it sounds like a bigger number, it's really a smaller number. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. So over here, the +5 and the +6, if you had said +5 was smaller than +6, you're absolutely right, because it's further to the left on our number line. So our guiding question today, what we're going to try to pay attention to is what strategies can we use to add integers? In math, it is not just haphazard. Nothing's haphazard about math. It's very logical. We use strategies, and I'll give you help sheets and to help you guide you through. Okay, so what strategies? We're actually going to learn 2 strategies and 2 rules. Once you get used to the strategies, you won't need them anymore. The rules will help you. So let me show you what I mean. First strategy is add numbers with a number line. So when a number is positive, we count to the right. And when the number is negative, we count to the left, right? Well, start at 0, we go this way, positive. If we start at 0 for a negative, we go this way for the negative, or minus. Minus, by the way, and plus are the same thing as positive and negative, okay? Just remember that. Positive and negative is the same thing as minus and plus. So what do we do when we want to say 6 plus a -4? Well, we start at 0, right here. And we count to the right because we're doing a plus. Notice, there's nothing in front of the 6. That means the 6 is positive. We could have just as easily done this as soon as I get my... All right, we could have just as easily said +6. Okay, so +6 plus a -4. So we're going to go start at 0, go to the right 6, that's +6. And then since this says -4 or -4, we're going to go to the left 4, and that ends us up at +2. Pretty simple, right? Well, and it's easy to do when you have smaller numbers on a number line. Okay, so I'm going to give you a chance to do one yourself. Use the number line and figure out the answer to this question. All right, now that you've got that, let's take a look what happens when we have 2 negative numbers going on here. That's interesting. So we've got a -3 plus a -2. Well, let's start at our 0, and we go -3. We get that far, right? But we're also doing a -2 or a negative, adding a -2. We go -2 more. We actually end up at -5. Let's think about that one. That's weird, isn't it? It's like we just added the two numbers together and stuck a minus sign in front of them. A rule is coming. I'll just give you a little hint. All right, so your turn. Use that number line. Add these integers. One more try. Let's see if you can do it. Okay, here's another strategy. You could use counters. So you could use X's and O's. You can use tiles. You can use, if you have enough, I don't know, balls, or you can make pennies the one and quarters the other one, you know, negative integers, positive integers. But for our example, we're going to make negative integers a red dot. Okay, so the red tiles are going to represent negative. The yellow tiles are going to represent the positive integers. All right, so here's what happens. We have a +2 plus a -5. So we have 5 red dots or tiles because they're negative. And we have the 2 yellow ones. What's the difference? Well, these cancel each other out, don't you think? And what do we have left? We have 3 red dots or 3 red tiles. So what is that number? If 5 was a negative number, our answer is -3. So you can use counters if you like, if that works better for you. So I want you to do this problem. Use whichever technique you like the best. All right, do this one too. Okay, so now I promised you some rules. If you can remember these 2 rules, you won't really need the techniques so much anymore. I hope the techniques helped you understand what we're doing, but the rules will help you just keep track. And don't worry, I've put the rules on a little help sheet, and I'll be giving them out in the next lesson. I'll be referring to them because I also have multiplication and division on there. So rule number 1, if the signs are the same, pretend there aren't any signs at all, and add them together and use that sign in front of your answer. So for instance, we have 9 plus 5. They're both positive. So what is 9 plus 5? You're not here to do it for me. 14. And what are they? They are positive. So do we put a plus in front of it? Yeah, we could. Do we have to? No, we don't. Because if it's no sign in front of it, it's a positive. All right. So now we got -9 plus -5. Well, it says here, if the signs are the same, pretend the signs aren't there. And add the numbers. So I'm going to pretend the signs aren't there. So I got 9 and 5. I'm going to add them up. I still get 14. But wait a minute, there was more to that rule. Then put the sign of the addends, or meaning these numbers are adding together. That's all that fancy word means. Put that sign in front. Well, we decided not to do it here because positives don't have to have them. But negatives do have to have them. So that one is a -14. That's rule number 1. Got it? Not hard, right? If they match, add them up, stick the sign in front. What happens if they're different? Oh, that's a whole new set of problems. Yes, it is. Here's rule number 2. If the signs are different, again, pretend they're not there, huh? That's a weird thing. But wait, there's more. Subtract the smaller number from the larger one. All right, we pretended that it wasn't there. So we're subtracting, and then put the sign of the larger one in front of your answer. So when you look at -9 plus +5, that's kind of weird. Why are all those pluses and parentheses there? Because math people like to just throw them in, just get used to it. Anyway, plus. We got -9 plus +5. The 9 is actually the bigger number. If we ignore signs, the 9 is a bigger number. So the answer is we're going to subtract them. Okay, 9 minus 5, but then we look here and we see that the bigger number was the negative one. The final answer has to have a minus sign in front of it. Okay, that's what we do when the numbers are different, or the signs are different on our numbers. All right, so I want to show you. Here's a bunch, and I got to move myself out of the way again. can't quite make all the slides work. Okay, so notice all of these different problems. So what I've done is, and it's kind of all out of order, they're going to pop up, is I've circled the largest number of these. Okay, so when you look at the different ones, you recognize right away. If you ignore the signs, which one is larger? Obviously, in that first one up here, if I didn't ignore the signs, which number is larger? The 3 is larger than the -5. But if I ignore the signs, 5 is bigger than 3. All right, so watch this. Here we go. I'm just circling them just to identify them, and they kind of jump around when we get a little further here. All right, maybe they don't. Yeah, there they go. Yeah, notice that. All right. -7. 7 is bigger than 2. No, a -7 isn't bigger. Okay. 11 is bigger than a 9. It's also bigger than a -9. Okay. +8 is bigger than 5. It's also bigger than -5. And then the 6 is bigger than the -4. All right. Notice the one on the bottom. They're both the same. But what is -9 plus 9? It's 0. They're the opposites, so they're going to give us 0. All right. Using that rule, let me get myself back out of the way so you can see your answer choices. Solve this problem using the integer addition rules. Okay, there's another one to solve. And one more. All right, we are done with the lesson. I hope that wasn't too bad. We're going to have lots of fun doing them like this. And if you don't understand, we're going to work on it together some more. Oh, have a nice day.